Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade.
And I'm Russ. We already know water and sewer costs are going up across Billings. Now it looks like it's going to cost you a little more to have your trash taken away.
That decision coming down as the Public Works Department asked Billings and Yellowstone County residents to pitch in for the cost of equipment repairs and improvements to solid waste services, including the Billings landfill.
Tonight, Billings City Council voted 8-2 to pass the resolution to raise garbage collection rates for city residents.
The council also approved an amendment that will raise rates to dump at the Billings landfill for county and out-of-state residents. Q2's Mitch Laggy is standing by now with those numbers. Mitch.
Russ and Jeanelle, residential and mobile homes will soon see an increase of 54 cents per month on their garbage bill. But that's not where the discussion was regarding the garbage fee resolution tonight. City Council members added an amendment to increase fees for out-of-town and out-of-state folks to dump trash at the Billings landfill. The resolution originally called for a 5% fee increase, but council members added an amendment to increase the fees to 15% instead of 5%. That means now a county resident will pay $9.10 to dump loads up to 1,500 pounds, and an out-of-state resident will pay $10.93. With the resolution, same as before, the Billings City residents don't pay a dime to use the landfill for regular trash, as that cost is already built into the garbage collection fee. And those rate increases will be in effect on July 1st. Russ and Jeanelle?
All right, thanks, Mitch.
Well, Billings City Council met earlier tonight to try and hammer out a solution to a 2020 budget shortfall.
City staff suggests the council make cuts that are grouped into 3 options that together would cut about $6 million from the 2020 budget. Council members are also discussing the possibility of putting a public safety mill levy on the ballot in May of 2020.
No action was taken at the meeting tonight. The council only discussed options. City Council has until June 30th to finalize the 2020 budget. Well, tonight the USS Billings is on the move.
Yeah, these images captured today as the 15th in the class of littoral combat ships departed the shipyard at Marinette, Wisconsin this morning. She's now working her way to Key West, Florida, where she will be commissioned on August 3rd.
Now, the ship and her crew will mostly operate in waters close to shore once she heads into action later this summer.
And more details emerging tonight for Vice President Mike Pence's trip to Billings this week.
Pence and Second Lady Karen Pence returned to the Treasure State this Wednesday at the invitation of Senator Steve Daines. They're checking out firsthand Montana's meth crisis. The vice president will meet privately with healthcare providers, local law enforcement, and federal officials as they look at treatment, prevention, and enforcement.
The Rimrock Foundation is part of the local substance abuse coalition and will join the vice president Wednesday. CEO Lynette Kasevich tells us drug use is on the rise, especially meth, and she hopes the feds will pay attention to what's happening here.
Some of the ways we're seeing the feds react to recognizing there are other drugs. AG Sessions was here over a year ago, and he came to talk about the opioid epidemic, but in a personal conversation, we got to talk about some of the things that really cause us concern here in Montana. Having Vice President Pence here really shines a light on the true depth of this problem.
The Vice President and Second Lady will arrive around noon at Billings Logan International Airport Wednesday. They'll be joined on Air Force Two by Senator Steve Daines and Representative Greg Gianforte.
Pence will then travel by motorcade to Riverstone Health Clinic for a briefing from the High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area Task Force and the Yellowstone Substance Abuse Coalition. After that, the Vice President will go to Willoway, a group home for patients struggling with addiction. Then later on Wednesday, he'll attend a political fundraising event for Senator Steve Daines.
Well, none of Wednesday's events are open to the public, but we will have complete coverage here on Q2 at 5:30 and 10 and at ktvq.com.
Man charged in connection with the death of a Broadwater County Sheriff's deputy will not be forcibly medicated while the Montana Supreme Court considers that case. A district judge in Helena ruled in April that Lloyd Barris could be forcibly medicated in an attempt to make him fit to stand trial. Barris's attorneys asked the Supreme Court to overturn that decision, arguing the state hadn't proven the necessary elements to justify forced treatment. They requested last week that the court put a stay on the judge's order. The court agreed to delay the treatment plan while considering the appeal. Prosecutors say Barris's son, Marshall, fatally shot Deputy Mason Moore near Three Forks back in May of 2017. The two men then led law enforcement on a chase that ended near Missoula. Marshall Barris was killed in a shootout with officers. Now, Lloyd Barris has been charged with 5 felonies, including deliberate homicide by accountability. He was found unfit to stand trial last year.
New developments tonight surrounding a massive sexual abuse case involving the former Miles City High School athletic trainer. A state judge in Custer County is dismissing 2 critical complaints ahead of trial, prompting plaintiffs in that case to again counterfile in response. Back in May, Judge Nicholas Murnion heard oral arguments from both sides. The civil suit was filed in September against 79-year-old Jim Jensen and the Miles City Unified School District by 32 former male student athletes. After weeks of review, Murnion found today that because Jensen was a guardian of the abused, the school district was not required to report child abuse. That's according to state law, it says. Now, Murnion also granted the district's wish to dismiss a claim of vicarious liability. Attorney for the plaintiffs, John Heenan, tells Q2 they refiled again later this afternoon. He says they don't perceive this ruling as a loss, but instead a slight delay in justice. Jensen is currently in federal custody.
Well, one driver is lucky to be off the Beartooth Pass safely after being stranded in sudden blizzard-like weather this weekend. Just after midnight on Saturday, Wyoming Highway Patrol was notified of a motorist stranded on US 212. Friend of the motorist tried to reach him, but he had to turn back because even his 4-wheel drive truck couldn't reach him in the 3 to 4 foot snow drifts. Wyoming Highway Patrol also tried to reach him. That trooper was also unsuccessful. 4 hours later at 5 a.m., it took National Park Service employees with a plow and shovels to free the stranded driver. Wyoming Highway Patrol also issuing a reminder that despite what the calendar says, conditions can change quickly in the mountains, and you should always be prepared for wintry weather. You never know when you might become stranded, and you always want to make sure you have enough fuel and provisions to survive.
Well, turning to weather closer to home tonight, we're all keeping our eyes on the rivers, Bob, but you have some good news.
Yeah, well, you know, that storm that hit the Beartooths, that produced almost a half an inch of rain here in the Billings area, and that caused the river levels to rise by about a foot. But since then, they have started to go down. So look where they're at. They're all going down, and you'll notice nobody is really near flood stage right now on these 5 rivers here, Billings, Yellowstone, the Yellowstone at Livingston, or places like the Shields River, all about 60 to 70% of normal. They were very close, like 80% of normal are being bank full. There's one other place we need to talk about. There's a flood warning now on the Tongue River at Bernie. That's right at flood stage. It's 7 feet. Flood stage, that's where the flood stage is, and that's getting ready to go out of its banks. You notice, so tonight we still see some more scattered rain showers moving into the area, so some of those rivers could still go up a little bit by tomorrow morning. We'll have more on that coming your way in a few more minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Bob. Well, a semi-truck crash in Bozeman leaves the community buzzing, and you have to see the video to believe it. The semi-truck driver was trying to make a turn when this happened. The semi-tractor made the turn, but the trailer did not. And inside that trailer, 133 million honeybees. 2 men hauling the bees from California to North Dakota were not injured. There's no word on how many bees remained in the truck or what's next for the remaining hives. Wow.
Although the Alberta Bear Theatre is torn up for a massive remodel, this summer's Billings Clinic Classic will go on.
Organizers will just alter their plans a bit. Well, today the Billings Clinic Foundation announced the group Alter Ego will headline this year's event, set for Saturday, August 24th. Alter Ego from Montreal, Canada is dubbed a non-stop all-dance performance featuring the best of 70s disco, 80s rock, 90s pop, and the hit songs of the new millennium.
Now, the group is made up of 7 lead singer dancers who undergo 95 costume changes during each performance. This year's theme, Urban Classic, will play off of the event's outdoor location street dance. The event will be filled with tents, lights, champagne, and music, promises ambiance and fabulous entertainment.
Now, tickets for the 2019 Billings Clinic Classic go on sale tomorrow morning. That's Tuesday, June 11th at 8:30 a.m. You can get your tickets by calling or heading over to the Billings Clinic Foundation on the hospital's campus.
And the proceeds will benefit the Sustainable Fund for the Psychiatric Services Residency Program at Billings Clinic, Montana's first and only psychiatry residency program.
Well, straight ahead on the Q2 10 o'clock news, the Crow Nation taking a stand for the Crazy Mountains. A look at the historical and spiritual significance next.
Plus, Yellowstone National Park is getting a bit more fashionable over the next few days. We'll get a glimpse inside.
And this year's best NCAA wrestler in America is in Great Falls tonight. Scott shows us why.
You're watching MTN News with Jeanelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Breen. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.